We've all got scars, some on the outside and some on the inside. But we can't be defined by our scars. I've spoken with some extraordinary people about how they've become empowered by their scars. This is I've Got Scars, baby.
Complete dislocation.
You was swimming that hard? Good God.
Apparently, right? It's like one day I was just in the locker room and I showed my dad, like, oh, hey, look at this cool thing I can do. And he's like, yeah, no, that's not normal at all. Right?
He was like, let's take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go to the hospital and they're like, pretty much long story short, unless this boy stops swimming, we'll have to amputate his right arm. Right? 0 to 100.
What?
Listen, this is what I say. I'm like, that's an exaggeration. I'm an exaggeration pro. That's an exaggeration, but my parents couldn't be told any different. So I took a break from swimming right there. And then 6 months later, Thanksgiving season. So this is like low key. How old am I? 24. It's like a 14-year anniversary.
Wow.
Thanksgiving 6 months later, my body starts to go limp at the table. So like that right arm that was wonky goes out. My leg goes out. We ended up going to the hospital, and I fall into this state of paralysis, essentially.
Whoa.
So, like, everything beneath the neck was just not connected. Like, it was there. If you were to hit me or pinch me or I was to be burned, I could feel it.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, moving it, I tell people it's kind of like that Kill Bill. Have you ever seen Kill Bill?
Mm-hmm.
When she's in the back of the wagon,
Yeah.
she woke up, she's trying to wiggle the big toe. That was the experience.
God.
That's like the experience verbatim, pretty much. Trying to talk to my body like, start working. But it just wasn't having it. So I was in that state for about 3 days down at Children's Hospital, Los Angeles.
Wow.
And we ended up finding out that like the dislocated shoulder was a complication of what I was diagnosed with, the Charcot Marie Tooth.
So
yeah.
What is it now? It's
Charcot Marie Tooth.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the name of 3 French scientists that discovered the disease.
Okay. And they call it CMT.
CMT, yeah.
Okay.
Just, abbreviations of their names.
Yeah.
And essentially what it is it's a motor neuropathy, right? So it can be likened to things like cerebral palsy, things of that nature, right? So the muscles atrophy, they underdevelop, and then also the neural pathways, right? So the things that we just take for granted, like, oh, let me like wiggle my thumbs or wiggle my toes.
Yeah.
My toes don't wiggle at all.
Wow.
And, like they're there.
Yeah.
They don't wiggle. Like my calves don't grow. My ankles don't grow. I've had probably easily, non-exaggerating, 200 sprained ankles in my life. Just
because it just happens.
It just happens. Like step the wrong way on a curve, be playing basketball, walking down the street, walking down some stairs. Just
so even being able to walk, it sounds like that's a feat in and of itself.
Girl, let me tell you. Walking miracle these days. No, it is really a feat, even to this day. So I'm a part of the Paralympics, right? I have to go through checkups and things like that to stay certified in the movement. And so every time I go to a new doctor, they run nerve conductivity tests. So essentially, like, they electric probe you, and the muscles are supposed to shock, right? Real lab rat type stuff. And so they do it to my legs. Nothing ever happens. And so they're like,
like
how
you
did you even
feel it?
know?
You don't.
Like a lot of times I'm like, yeah, like when you're going to get started. They're like, oh no, we're doing it. Because you're on your back, you can't see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we already started. Like, nothing is happening. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm in here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So wait, so how is it, like, I'm still confused. Like, how is it that you can actually walk if you can't, connect with your feet, with your toes, with your legs?
That's a great question. It would behoove me not to say the higher powers, God.
That.
That's
God.
step one on the
That's
checklist,
incredible.
right?